No! God, please, no! No!
Welcome back to Torn Apart. We're doing one of my favorite things today. We are ranking really shitty stuff. And you probably know of what I'm talking about because this video is actually a sequel. This is a sequel to another video that was so incredibly successful that I decided to make another one. Today we're ranking very, very, very bad posters. These might even be the worst posters you've ever seen. Is it possible to out shit the kind of shittiness that we had in the previous video? I don't know, but we're gonna try. I think we have a really interesting selection here, mostly because it's a mix of contemporary movies, 80s and 90s movies, but also things that we've seen from last year, but also some very interesting things from 2023, because we never stop making bad posters. We just never do. We seem to never be able to just stop ourselves and just wonder, what would it look like if we did a good job? Am I right? Of course, there's gonna be a lot of superhero films, because as you can see, we're already starting with Ant-Man.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
Listen, the marketing campaign for Ant-Man has been mostly good at the end of the day, but like, do you remember the very first posters? The very first posters was so incredibly bad, like you couldn't even understand what the fuck was going on. Why is there a bridge at the back? Is there even like an action sequence going on a bridge? I don't even think so. And so many different characters, of course, fading into each other, just famous actors that you're supposed to know, and Ant-Man like being giant like that, it just doesn't work. I actually much prefer the other posters that they started making with like Ant-Man being ant-sized and everyone else being like the normal size. At least that is clever, and it's the only thing that you can do with a hero like Ant-Man. So this makes no sense at all. So I'll put it into the mediocre category, which I brilliantly called Sweaty Balls. This is another really weird movie that is called Are We Done Yet?
Did I get him?
No!
I haven't seen it, and this is a complete disaster. Like, just look at it. Are we supposed to be on top of the house roof, looking down at the person being on the ladder, slowly falling down? And just the perspective of this poster just makes no sense at all. Plus there is also that kind of white background look that I really don't like on posters. It makes them look like it's weird. It's not even advertising, it's that kind of like lookbook look that you can see on websites like H&M, you know, when you're trying to buy like a pair of shoes and it's just like a pair of shoes on a white background. Yeah, this is what I think about when I see posters on a white background. It's just, most of the times it doesn't work. And for me, honestly, this is definitely a graphic designer true nightmare. Like, look at it, it's disgusting. It doesn't make me want to watch the film. It just raises way more questions than I'm supposed to have when just looking at the poster. Here we've got the poster for Central Intelligence. I remember liking that movie at the end of the day, but it's yet another one of those posters where they clearly, like, the two actors were not even in the same room when they did this shoot to create the poster. Plus I hate the fact that when you look at posters you can't really tell what the hell is going on. So you just have these two people holding guns and one being scared and the other being incredibly serious. I mean, let's put it into Sweaty Balls, because like for Ant-Man, it's a very simple idea, and now we've got one of the most disgusting posters I've ever seen. I remember like online, people just going insane, asking Disney / Marvel / Sony or whoever the fuck is in charge of the marketing campaign for those films to make a poster starring the 3 Spider-Man. And this is the best thing they could come up with. This fucking poster, where they literally put every single character in the fucking multiverse in one poster. This is garbage. Honestly, there was so much potential to make such a cool looking poster starring 3 generations of Spider-Man actors. But no, they still managed to make it look like the most cliche MCU poster ever. This makes me fucking mad. Like, I need to put it into how dare you. Because honestly, how dare you just ruin my eyesight like that? Honestly, like, what the fuck? Here we've got a movie that I've never heard about. It's called Dan in Real Life. Is this Steve Carell? I think it's Steve Carell. Is it?
I went a little nutty, got a little stupid.
Honey, you've made some mistakes.
So many.
Once again, what I was talking about before. We've got white background. I think it's supposed to be looking like he's having breakfast because you've got like the teacup in the foreground and then his face like on the pancakes. But the thing that I don't like is that this is clearly like done on Photoshop once again. It is very clear that he didn't actually do that. This was not an actual shoot. They just did it back in post-production and the compositing just doesn't work at all. It's not necessarily insulting, so I'll put it like into sweaty bold, maybe high tier sweaty balls. Probably most people don't know what the hell this is, but this is like an alternative poster that they made in Italy and it was released for a couple of weeks apparently as well. Now it's almost impossible to find, especially when it comes to the HD like files. So you can only find like screen grabs of people who actually took pictures of the official poster being put like at the cinemas and stuff. I have no idea who made this. This doesn't look like a real film. This looks like a B action movie version of it. Is it, you know, like the bootleg? Yeah, this looks like a bootleg copy of 12 Years a Slave. But no, this is the actual 12 Years a Slave. Honestly, like, this is so funny. How dare you? Like, how dare you make Brad Pitt look so fucking disgusting? Like, how is it even impossible? How is it impossible to make Brad Pitt look like his face is like flat in one side and then the bottom of the poster still looks like the normal 12 Years a Slave poster? So it means that it was available. Like, the poster was available. They clearly made the choice to make it look this disgusting. It's so fucking funny. It's so fucking weird. So this movie here, it's called Dude, Where's My Car? Starring Ashton Kutcher. I still haven't seen it, even though it's a bit of a cult movie now.
Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude? Dude, there's your car. Oh.
And that's the end.
There are so many things wrong with this. This is kind of the same level as Are We Done Yet? The one I was talking about before, where their perspective is just all over the place. This is like such a 90s or early 2000s like way of making posters, especially of those movies that tend to be like aimed at teenagers. It just makes me want to throw up. Just looking all of these people just standing on a line, even though the perspective is just wrong, because Ashton Kutcher's face is like bigger than his shoes, but the people behind him, like, they don't really follow the same like laws of perspective. A graphic designer true nightmare, without a doubt, like without a doubt. Okay, this one here, some people would be like, it's debatable. I mean, the posters were okay when it comes to Fantastic Beasts, but that's the thing, they were okay for such a big movie, such a huge budget, such an incredible IP, and it's just okay looking. I mean, I remember like reviewing like a fan-made short movie about the origins of Voldemort, and they made actually posters like this with a kind of greenish magical effect, just the faces of actors with a wand and weird magic effects that they were added in post-production. So if normal people on an everyday basis, like for short films, can make these kind of posters, can you imagine how fucking insulting it is that they did the same for like a huge movie like Fantastic Beasts? And I will put it into high tier sweaty balls because honestly, it's insulting.
Call it magic.
Here we've got a movie that is called Fat Albert. Is it Fat Albert? Yeah. Okay. I've never seen it. I've never seen this movie, so I have no idea if it's fatphobic or something like that.
Hey, hey, hey! It's Fat Albert! Yeah!
But there is something so wrong about the way that it's like composed. This actor, we can't see his neck. It feels like his arms are not at the right place. It really looks like they put something on his stomach to make him look even bigger. But it doesn't look like a fat suit at the same time. Like something you would see in Big Mama's house, you know, something like that. I feel ashamed for the graphic designer who had to make this, and then like the people behind it were like, oh, we love it. This shit is like the shit. We're gonna release this, you know? There are so many incredibly mediocre posters for the Fast and Furious franchise, but I chose this one in particular because you can't even see the actors because they're literally like in the foggy background. They're literally this tiny. They're super, super tiny, and the car is like incredibly big. But the reason why I chose this one, it's because can you actually tell why this is Fast and Furious 7? No. You could literally replace the title of this movie with any of the other Fast and Furious movies, and this poster would still work. Just because you can't even tell like how many people are standing in the background, you know? It could be any of them. It could even be the first one. And I hate that kind of stuff. This is just like incredibly poor design. There is no idea behind this. Fast and Furious, like there is cars and famous people in it. They put the cars and the famous people are like even in the background. Like they didn't even do their job right. You can't even tell what kind of car this is. It's just like a wheel. It's a huge wheel. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'll put it next to Fantastic Beasts. Maybe even higher because at least Fantastic Beasts, you can maybe tell that this is the poster for the third one, even though I'm not even sure. That's even worse actually if you think about it. Like they made a series of posters where you can't even tell that this is the third movie in a franchise. This could apply with the first movie as well. Oh fuck, really sucks. This one here, it's a bit of a retro poster look. It's called Ghost Dad.
Bill Cosby. And you've never seen him before.
And I have no problem with the left side of the poster. The left side of the poster looks quite good, especially because this film probably came out in the 80s or the 90s or something like that. So I do appreciate the amount of effort that went into it. And the idea works quite well. The thing that makes me cringe is the three children's heads on the right side of the image. Just lined up one on top of the other without showing their bodies. So it's just like faces coming out. You know what you would need to shoot something like that? They would need to be planking on top of each other, right? That's the only way of having people's heads so close to each other without their bodies coming forward. And just imagining the whole scene makes me laugh so hard. This is why you can tell it's like poor poster design, just because it makes you ask too many questions. And when you ask yourself too many questions, I will put it into maybe like a low tier graphic designer true nightmare. The next one, it's just lazy. Grown Ups, they did the same with the second movie as well. It's so lazy.
I can't let go, I'm too scared!
They literally just put like a freeze frame of one of the scenes from the movie at the top and the women, so their wives, being judgmental at the bottom. And then like a white bar in the middle. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell what this movie is because the title would be impossible to read, right? Especially because the action going on at the top is incredibly complex. So of course you need that kind of white bar. But I hate that kind of stuff. It's very, very rare that you can just grab like a freeze frame from a specific scene in a movie and turn it into a poster. It doesn't happen that often. It's very, very rare. And this just looks so lazy. If they at least committed to using like the top part of the poster and making that into the poster, then it would have been fun. It just makes it look like a very cheap looking movie, like a TV movie. So the next one is the poster for Hannah. The movie is actually quite good. I think they made a series about Hannah as well. But this is part of a trend of like espionage movies. They probably did it with the Bourne Identity movies as well. Or movies like The International, where they just put like scenes from the movie next to each other. And they used like the targeting thing, like the aiming thing of a gun or slash sniper rifle to compose the picture. The result is incredibly confusing. Just because I feel like they didn't really use the good pictures to do that. It really feels amateurish at the end of the day when it comes to this poster. I really don't like it. Thank God that there is another version of this poster which looks a bit better. I just feel sad maybe for the graphic designer. No, let's put it into sweaty balls as well. This one I put here just out of pure chance. I've never seen this movie and I really want to see it. Of course, this is bad on purpose. Like this looks ridiculous. It's a movie called Inseminoid. Science fiction, of course. I don't even want to know what it is about.
Inseminoid, a far from human birth.
And I will allow it just because this is a classic like B sci-fi like horror movie. So of course the poster has to be ridiculous. This movie is called The Combagator. Combagator? And this is just next level. This is like Sharknado bad. I don't even know if this is bad because they wanted to do it on purpose or just they lack the skills of making anything good. I can't really allow it just because this is so ridiculous. I will put it into a graphic designer true nightmare because I think there is nothing good going on in this poster. But at the same time, it's a B movie. Or it seems to be a very low budget movie, so what do we expect, right? The next one is called Jack and Jill, yet another Adam Sandler movie.
Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after.
I don't know what this thing is when it comes to Adam Sandler and really bad posters, but he's got like a yearly subscription to that shit. Yep.
Now you take back what you said about Pagogo.
Go ahead, do it. Defend the honor of that self-deluded, sycophantic, bitter hack.
It kind of looks like Grown-Ups, right? When it comes to it's the same kind of trend, it's the same kind of way of creating posters. The thing that really bothers me is that, have you noticed that the bottom part of the poster you've got a floating head and it works just because we assume that there is a body under it, right? The top part doesn't work because you see Adam Sandler's face, you see that they have the same background, but his body is just missing. So it's just literally like a floating head. So it's like two floating heads without bodies, and it just looks really weird. It looks like something is missing in the picture, you know? And of course, I don't really know if you can tell exactly what this movie is about, besides maybe like identical twin sisters or like brother and sister. I'll put it into sweaty balls because I mean, it's an Adam Sandler movie, so expectations are incredibly low, I'm pretty sure. Plus, graphic designers probably took 5 minutes to make this poster, you know? And I'm pretty sure that they didn't care about the quality of it because Adam Sandler's movies are just bad, especially lately in the last 10 to 15 years.
This is grown-up talk, so bad out!
The next poster didn't bother me that much when you think about it. When it came out, I didn't even notice there was anything weird with it. Then I looked at it, maybe for the first time ever, and I realized that the perspective is completely wrong. Everything is glued together. Of course, none of these have been shot at the same time. None of these actors were present on the shoot at the same time, and you can see that. The worst thing is probably like the knife, which is just coming in front of Keanu Reeves, even though like it's kind of lacking a lot of depth. Everything looks flat. It looks incredibly flat, and it's just really sad. It just makes me sad. It's a graphic designer true nightmare, without a doubt. As you can probably hear, we've got the trash man outside of my window. I was about to say delivering trash, man. No, that's not what the trash men do. They don't deliver trash. They take it home. And when I say home, I mean not their own home. I mean the home of trash. And that's where trash lives. Unless you are a trash-eating garbage man like I am. Meaning that I am almost entirely made of trash. So I don't need to go with the trash people to their home to be disposed of. I can just dispose of myself by putting myself in the trash where I belong. And I'm still going on rambling about trash, am I not?
You shut the fuck up!
also,
You shut the fuck
let it
up!
get you a little bit.
You shut the fuck up!
And I'm doing this mostly because the next poster that we're talking about today is Dungeons and Dragons, the new movie that is coming out like literally now. I had a lot of choice when it comes to bad posters for this movie, but I decided to go with this one, which is incredibly bad, even though it looks cool, superficially. It has the same problem as the perspective issues I was talking about before. This is a poster where, first of all, these people were not in the same room when they were shot all together. And I feel like it's a problem mostly because perspective issues, blending and compositing issues, they always rise up when you don't have the main actors starring all together in one picture. And sometimes it's really hard to make it look realistic, especially when you have a picture like this. So it looks like we're looking up at them, like we're lying down and looking up at them. But if you think about like the physics of all that, it's kind of weird. It's just not possible, especially because they wouldn't really be showing that much torso. It's just wrong. Like the perspective is just wrong. I don't even know how to explain it properly, but you can see it. Like they wanted to do something incredibly symmetrical and like harmonious, but at the end of the day, it just ended up looking flat flat and weird looking. Let's put it into graphic design a true nightmare because it looks cool, even though it has a lot of perspective issues. And I'm pretty sure that a graphic designer would know that there's a lot of things going wrong with this poster. But it was released anyways, so someone somewhere thought this was cool and they had to give up. The next movie is actually a really cool movie with Ryan Gosling. What the fuck is Rosling? With Ryan Gosling, and it's called Lars and the Real Girl. Once again, this is so flat. So flat. I mean, it could have been almost like a stylistic choice, but no, because they added like some shadow like here on the casket. So basically, the entire image has no shadow, no depth of field. It just looks flat. And then you have this casket which actually doesn't look flat. So you have to choose. Are you gonna do something that looks like a weird like cartoon or like a weird drawing, especially like a vintage drawing? Or do you want to do something that has a depth of field? You can't do a mix of both. It just looks too weird. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, how dare you? Like, honestly, how dare you still in 2022 make posters like this? I hate everything about this. The explosion there at the background, how nothing blends in together at the end of the day. It just feels like they added so many things that they just could have not added. Plus, I don't understand why they decided to put the same actors like twice. Because Sandra Bullock is present 2 times in this poster. What was the need of that? Like, were you afraid that we wouldn't know that Sandra Bullock was in the movie? Or even worse, maybe some people could think that there are 2 Sandra Bullocks in the movie, like twin sisters or something like that. But this is just incredibly bad. It really fucking pisses me off. It really fucking pisses me off. The next one is a fun one. It's a movie with Chuck Norris. First of all, I have no idea what the fuck is going on when it comes to the exposure. It's so white. This poster is so incredibly overexposed. And I don't know whether it's just because of the transfer. Maybe it's just like someone took a picture of it. It's not even like the official like file. Maybe that's why it looks like that. And the quality was so low that they decided to bring like all the exposure up so that it would look like something. But no, the weird thing is the dog there on the right side. I know what he's trying to do. The dog is trying to like give you his paw, like that kind of trick you teach dogs. But out of context, and especially when you see that Chuck Norris is not like giving him his hand, it looks like he's doing like a Nazi salute. It looks like this dog is doing like a weird Nazi salute. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I put it into how dare you because this is just weird. And I'm pretty sure it's a cop dog as well. So why a cop dog would be doing a Nazi salute, I have no idea. Pretty sure I'm maybe the only one thinking that this dog is doing that because you understand the context, but this is what the poster is telling me. This is what it looks like. So I have to understand it in that way.
One's doing all the work, and his partner is getting all the credit.
Man, that dog is some kind of hero, you know that?
A lot of things wrong with this one. It's called The Ramen Girl. Once again, you've got that incredibly shitty white background that you have in actually most romantic comedies of the early 2000s when you think about it. It's just bad, but it's not bad because the idea is bad. It's just that it looks like it's a really shitty movie. It's a shitty poster. It doesn't really tell you what it is about. It looks like someone who is in love maybe with like Asian culture to like incredibly disgusting levels.
I think I know. Let me try. The spinach. Here. Pork. And this at 2 o'clock.
B13. I remember this poster and I don't even know if I thought anything was wrong with it back then. This is like a new level of perspective war. Like you have to be completely high to make something like this. I have nothing else to add. This is like a masterpiece of wrong. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong when it comes to this poster here. How dare you? Honestly, how dare you? This is as bad as the 12 Years a Slave thing and Spider-Man as well. Same level, probably even worse. Oh yeah, probably even worse. We're talking about Ant-Man. We're talking about Ant-Man once again. You know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say, right? How dare you? How dare you once again decide to put so many fucking things in one image? Why? Why do they do this? Why? It's clearly not good looking. You can't understand anything. Plus, as I said before, they are once again not playing with the fact that it's an Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man is the biggest thing on the poster, while often he's the smallest on screen. It's stupid. I can't even understand what is where. I'm so sad for the team that has to build these kind of posters. Like, I hope you get good healthcare. I hope you get a lot of money, because can you imagine if it's just one person who has to make all of these and it's just driving him or her insane?
How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
Then we've got the poster for Nim's Island. Nim's Island is a really cute movie. The thing I don't understand is, once again, how they decided to put all of these aspects of the movie together. For me, this poster would actually work if the left part of the poster just wasn't there. Why the need to add even more details, right? I'll put this one into sweaty balls just because it's very close to being okay. And I think it's also like one of those rare occasions where having a lot of things on screen works, just because it's a fantasy movie, it's a child movie, so you know, there is that dreamlike quality to it. Resident Evil Afterlife.
Come on. I just want to go home. Come on, man. It's fucking bullshit. I can't make movies like this anymore.
There's a lot of incredibly bad posters, especially in the last few Resident Evil movies. This looks like one of those images that you see when you go to Disneyland, basically, you know? A Space Mountain. Yeah, it looks like a Space Mountain picture. You could apply this to any movie, any of the Resident Evil movies at the end of the day, because it's still Mia Jovovich, she has guns, and she's shooting. Could apply to anything. They made this poster just because of the 3D thing. That's the only reason. So it's supposed to look like a weird, like a joyride, even though it just looks disgusting. Honestly, graphic designer, true nightmare up there. They probably think, or at least someone thought, that they were doing something cool. But when the poster doesn't even tell you what the movie is gonna be about, it just doesn't deserve to exist. This is yet another example of something that I want to allow to exist, mostly because it seems to be an incredibly cringy looking movie.
Newsflash, not in the Bible. That's a pagan idol symbol. It was the winter solstice. Jesus was not born in December. It's exactly what the Druids did. It's like a carjacking, but like of our religion.
It's called Saving Christmas. The design is a huge mess, but it's very consensual. Like, it feels like this was supposed to be a mess because the movie itself is a mess. So I'll allow it. I don't even want to talk about it that much because you can tell it's a stupid B movie, right? You're not supposed to take it seriously. This actually shocked me. The next poster really shocked me because I had no recollection of this being as confusing as it actually is. Another example of there being too many aspects of an idea going on in one single poster, too many elements put together to the point that you don't even focus on anything and you don't understand anything at all. I understand that the Slumdog Millionaire movie has a lot of parts to it, and maybe you wanted to include like the action, like social issues part with the quiz part, but with all the neon lights going on, all the weird flares, it just doesn't work. I don't know where I'm supposed to look, so it's just poor design. And for a movie that became so famous, it's actually really sad that it had such a weird looking poster. Next movie, it's a Nicolas Cage B movie that probably no one has seen.
To save his daughter,
there's no way you can steal $10 million.
He has just 12 hours.
You don't think he's telling the truth? No, I do not.
To steal $10 million.
We've got some perspective issues, but most of all, we've got that kind of mentality where they just tell the graphic designer to do it in post-production. Who cares if Nicolas Cage doesn't want to pose for a normal picture? Just add Nicolas Cage face onto this body that is running away from a car that is blowing up. So bad. It looks so bad. This is as bad as the huge alligator. That's insane. We've already gotten to the final poster of this video. It's so much fun, and it's also so fast to go through all these posters. Probably took so many hours for all of those people to work on them. It's insane, and we can destroy them with one snap. The last one, you can tell that the idea behind this poster was interesting. It reminds me of Cheaper by a Dozen, those kind of like concepts of movies, and I do like the idea behind it, but it lacks a lot of depth. It lacks depth, and it also lacks a lot of perspective, especially when it comes to, there is no way that all of these people would be on top of each other for this picture to be actually real. This is the kind of thing that would work so well if they just shot it in a sound studio, you know? If they just shot it on location, this would be a gorgeous picture. It's not that hard to make. You just have to organize everyone. The lighting can be flat. It can come from the front so that everyone is well lit, and then you try to add more contrast back later, like in post-production. But here it's really clear that they took everyone's picture by themselves in a studio, and then they asked the graphic designer to just lay them on top of each other, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't look real, and it really sucks because this could have been a cool idea. I would put it into graphic designer True Nightmare just because it must have taken so much time. It takes a lot of time to do this kind of like compositing and layering on top of each other, and for it to look so bland and so cold. Plus they went of course with a white background because there are way too many elements on screen, so if there are so many elements you have to go with something easy. But I feel like this could have worked with a different kind of background. The white background makes it look even more fake. It looks like we're standing like in a weird alien spaceship, and it's just sad because this looks like a family movie, so it's supposed to be warm, it's supposed to be welcoming, and it just looks sad.
I was up all night Googling her.
Gee, Frank, you Googled some chick?
What do you think that means?
Something dirty.
Anyways, those are all the posters that I had for today. It's a limitless kind of research that I could do when it comes to gathering together all the worst posters ever made. And I love doing it because there are so many, and also nobody seems to give a shit about them, and people seem to want to forget about them as fast as possible, but I won't. I will never forget about these posters and these movies, and neither will you now. Let me know down in the comments which was the worst posters you've ever seen within this video, and also if you like this video, give me a thumbs up so that I know and I can make more of these. Maybe I will make a third movie in the trilogy for next year. Why not? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Every single like that you drop will go to Ant-Man himself so that he can carry that like, or maybe be squashed by it, depending on who's designing the poster, I guess, because they're the one who decide which size Ant-Man has. It's canon. That's the power of the graphic designers. I'm Patrick, and this is Torn Apart.
Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show.
I'm Ants in My Eyes Johnson, here at Ants in My Eyes Johnson's Electronics. I mean, there's so many ants in my eyes, and there's so many TVs, microwaves, radios. I'm not 100% sure what we have here in stock because I can't see anything. Ant-Man.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da.